Welcome to the dark side of the corporate world. In this video, we'll take a deep dive into the top 5 worst company disasters of all time, and one super disaster. From catastrophic product failures to deadly workplace incidents, these blunders left a trail of destruction in their wake, costing billions of dollars and irreparable damage to their reputation. These companies had it all: the money, the power, and the influence. But one fatal mistake brought them to their knees. We'll examine how these disasters happened, the aftermath of the fallout, and what we can learn from their mistakes. Let's dive right in. Number 5. Missing comma cost Lockheed Martin $70 million. In June 1999, the aerospace giant Lockheed Martin found itself in a sticky situation when a contract with a customer was issued with a missing comma in the sale price. The error was not detected until the customer held the company accountable for the offer. The missing comma resulted in the sale price of a C-130J Hercules aircraft being undervalued, costing Lockheed Martin a staggering $70 million. This mistake came at a particularly bad time for the company, as just a few months later, they experienced another costly mishap. This time, a simple math conversion error led to the loss of a $125 million Mars probe project, which was being developed in collaboration with NASA. The project's failure caused significant setbacks for both Lockheed Martin and NASA, and it was a major embarrassment for the aerospace company. The loss of the Mars probe project was particularly frustrating for the company, as it had invested considerable time and resources in the project. Engineers and scientists had worked tirelessly to develop the probe, which was designed to explore the surface of Mars and gather data to help scientists better understand the planet. The error that caused this loss resulted from a communication breakdown between Lockheed Martin and NASA. The aerospace company had used metric units in its calculations, while NASA had used imperial units. The result was a discrepancy that both agencies realized too late. Number 4. Citibank overpays by $892 million. In one of the biggest financial mishaps in recent times, Citibank, a global banking giant based in New York, made a colossal error that sends shockwaves through the financial world. 3 of its employees, with a simple but costly mistake, transferred a jaw-dropping $900 million instead of the intended $8 million interest payment to Revlon lenders. The blunder was soon noticed, but the damage was already done. The mistake sparked a frenzy of panic within Citibank, which scrambled to recover the funds. The bank quickly notified the recipients of the erroneous transfer and requested the immediate return of the money. But not all of it could be retrieved. In total, the bank was only able to recover $390 million, but the remaining $510 million remained frozen. The situation took an interesting turn when a judge denied Citibank's request to keep the $510 million frozen while it tried to convince the court it deserved to get the money back. This legal development added a new layer of complexity to the already unprecedented situation. Citibank was forced to devise a convincing argument to prove it deserved to retrieve the remaining funds. The aftermath of this blunder has been far-reaching. Citibank faced severe repercussions and was forced to reevaluate its internal systems to prevent a recurrence of a similar error. The bank also suffered a considerable loss, with its stock taking a hit after the incident. Meanwhile, the accidental recipients of the transferred funds faced a dilemma, as they were uncertain about the legal and ethical implications of the unexpected windfall. The incident made headlines across the globe and left the financial world stunned at the sheer magnitude of the mistake. Number 3. Moviepass miscalculated move. The cinema industry, like any other, is constantly looking for ways to innovate and stay ahead of the curve. In 2011, Moviepass emerged as a solution to disrupt the traditional movie-going experience. Moviepass's idea was simple: a subscription allowing users to watch one movie a day at any cinema at any time for a monthly fee of $50. Despite offering an attractive deal, Moviepass struggled to make ends meet. The company bet on the assumption that users who watched very few movies would offset the cost of those who watched a lot. However, that assumption proved to be incorrect. Most users loved going to the movies and watched more than one movie a month. This led to Moviepass losing money on every subscriber. In 2017, Helios and Matheson Analytics acquired Moviepass and lowered the monthly subscription fee to $10. This decision was based on the premise that Moviepass could negotiate discounted tickets and a cut of concession sales with movie theaters. The idea was to leverage the large user base to create bargaining power with theaters. However, AMC Theaters was unwilling to participate and launched its own subscription service. This move directly resulted from Moviepass's aggressive tactics, which created tension between the two companies and put Moviepass in a very tight spot. What followed next was a series of missteps and blunders that eventually led to the downfall of the once popular Moviepass. The company neglected its customers and implemented several poorly planned and executed initiatives that caused its customers to lose faith in its service. Ultimately, the company had to shut down in 2019, remembered more as a cautionary tale than a disruptor. It might have succeeded if the company tried to understand the nuances and the players in the industry it was trying to disrupt. Additionally, things might have been different if they'd survived long enough to see COVID-19 shut down theaters for months. But in the end, Moviepass learned the hard way that even the most innovative and disruptive ideas could fail without a solid foundation of partnerships and customer service. Number 2. Kodak's clinging to the past. Kodak's story is a classic example of a once dominant player failing to keep up with a rapidly changing technology landscape. Despite inventing the first digital camera in 1975, Kodak was slow to embrace digital photography and other emerging technologies fully. The company initially focused on producing photographic plates and paper, which were revolutionary at the time. However, as technology evolved, Kodak faced increasing competition from Japanese firms that were more willing to embrace digital technology. Kodak's reluctance to embrace this new technology was partly due to the company's desire to protect its highly profitable film business. It was also due to a lack of foresight. Kodak failed to recognize the potential of digital cameras and smartphones, and instead focused on its traditional strengths in printing and imaging. Realizing its costly blunder, the company resorted to diversification, making several ill-advised acquisitions, including a foray into the healthcare industry. These acquisitions were made through high debt, which put the company in an even more dangerous financial position. Kodak also tended to abandon promising projects too quickly, preventing it from fully capitalizing on its digital assets. Kodak's failure to commercialize its digital products was a major factor in its downfall. The company was good at research and development, but it lacked the marketing savvy and strategic vision to bring its products to market. Ultimately, Kodak filed for bankruptcy in 2012, marking the end of an era for the iconic company. Despite its early innovations and technological prowess, Kodak's inability to adapt to changing market conditions proved to be its undoing. Number 1. Sears' slow death. The American retail giant Sears had a rich history that spanned over a century. Richard Warren Sears founded the company in 1886 in Chicago, initially selling watches. By 1895, the company had grown to include many products. In the 1980s, Sears recognized the potential of the internet and partnered with IBM to create Prodigy, one of the first online service providers. Prodigy allowed customers to send messages and emails and participate in online forums, laying the groundwork for the internet we know today. Despite its early entry into the digital space, Sears failed to see the potential of e-commerce and online retail. Meanwhile, founded in 1994, Amazon started as an online bookstore and quickly expanded to become the behemoth we know today. Amazon's success was largely due to its efficient supply chain management, which allowed for quick and seamless delivery of products to customers. On the other hand, Sears had a cumbersome infrastructure that couldn't keep up with a fast-paced world of e-commerce. The company's decision to end its catalog delivery business in 1993 proved fatal. Sears could not pivot to the digital world and struggled to compete with discount giants like Walmart and e-commerce giants like Amazon. The company eventually filed for bankruptcy in 2018, marking the end of an era. In retrospect, Sears' downfall can be attributed to a lack of foresight and failure to adapt to changing times. Sears may have been the Amazon of its day, but it failed to recognize the importance of e-commerce and supply chain management in the digital age. The lesson to be learned from Sears' demise is that remaining competitive requires constant effort and the willingness to embrace change, even if it means doing the boring stuff well and with continuity. But while these blunders might be mind-boggling, Yahoo's blunder is even more outrageous. The company's ego made it lose out on 3 of the most lucrative business deals in recent history. Here's how it went down. In 1998, Yahoo was one of the biggest players in the internet world. They were approached by 2 young PhD students, Sergey Brin and Larry Page, who offered to sell their search engine, Google, to Yahoo for $1 million. However, Yahoo CEO Terry Semel turned down the offer at the time, thinking it was too expensive for a mere search engine. Little did he know that Google would become one of the most valuable companies in the world. Fast forward to 2002, and Google had become a household name with a rapidly growing user base. On the other hand, Yahoo struggled to maintain its position as the dominant search engine. Realizing their mistake, Yahoo offered to buy Google for $3 billion, but Google asked for $5 billion, or 0.5% of its value today, adjusted for inflation. Yahoo refused, and the rest is history. In 2006, Yahoo was still struggling to keep up with the changing landscape of the internet, and that year, they had a chance to acquire a fledgling social network called Facebook for $1.1 billion. However, Yahoo's then CEO, Terry Yang, thought the price was too high for a company with only $20 million in revenue. Facebook's founder, Mark Zuckerberg, walked away from the deal, and Yahoo missed out on a chance to own one of the world's most dominant social media platforms. In the years that followed, Yahoo struggled to keep up with the pace of innovations in the tech industry. The company made several more ill-advised acquisitions, including purchasing Tumblr for $1.1 billion, which ultimately proved to be a major flop. Meanwhile, competitors like Facebook and Google continued to grow astonishingly, leaving Yahoo in the dust. The company's refusal to sell to Microsoft in 2008 for $44.6 billion was a particularly costly misstep. At the time, Yahoo faced increasing competition from Google and Facebook, and many industry experts believed that a sale to Microsoft would have been the best possible outcome for the struggling company. In 2016, Verizon Communications bought Yahoo for $4.6 billion. That was a far cry from the $44.6 billion offer they'd received from Microsoft 8 years earlier. By this point, Yahoo's revenue had fallen by 20% from its 2014 highs, and the company struggled to stay afloat. Unfortunately, Tumblr's value plummeted by 99% when Verizon sold it for just $3 million in 2019. Yahoo continued to make several bad decisions regarding M&A, and their ego prevented them from partnering with other companies that could have helped them to stay competitive. As a result, they lost out on some of the biggest opportunities in the tech world and remain the biggest blunder tale for future generations of businesses to come. And there you have it, the top 5 worst company disasters that have rocked the business world, not including Yahoo. And these blunders are a reminder that no company is invincible and that the consequences, poor decisions, inaction, and human error can be severe.